Programming. Movies are programming. And I want to start with the example of this. H.G. Wells is known for being the science fiction writer. Like, oh, it came from him. It wasn't like the first science fiction guy, I imagine. But a lot of people say, hey, we didn't realize like our sensibilities on science fiction were developed by H.G. Wells. But he was like a social engineer, ass kisser. H.G. Wells, oh, wealthy elite, tell me. I'll write anything. I'll do anything. And then there's guys like H.P. Lovecraft who wrote about cosmic horror, science fiction. It's all the same soup, same people milling around one another, interested in the same things. H.G. Wells, this is a book that he did about history. So he was interested in this. And he was trying to do for the wealthy elite shape their world and sensibilities by giving us stuff to read. So kind of the genre of science fiction, Edgar Allan Poe, these other people, but let's stick with H.G. Wells. Genre science fiction, a lot of stuff comes from him. War of the Worlds, Time Machine, and we keep going. And all the concepts in there, the Morlocks, all this stuff. H.G. Wells. He was helping shape, and he knew this when he was writing this stuff, shape the world that they wanted to create. And he wanted a place in it. Oh, let me in. He's kissing all the ass to get in, right? So he did that. Darwin, all these guys, they wanted in with the elite, with their plans. So they said, what are they doing? So they help shape that and mold that. So when you watch a science fiction movie, you're getting propaganda from its beginning. When you're going into a degraded modern art museum, you're getting propaganda. You're getting some bullshit. When you watch a horror movie, you're deliberately being traumatized to put you in that state. Movies could be programming in a different way. What if you watched a movie where everything worked? And what if movies became overtly on the table? Here's a program. So for example, every genre of movie is fucked programming. And why do I say that? That's why I use science fiction as the example. Going back to the beginnings of science fiction, there's no science fiction in history. Fuck ancient aliens and flying saucers and Italian frescoes of the Renaissance and whatever, and pre-Raphaelite, blah, 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 with flying saucers. Forget all that shit, okay? That's some nonsense. There's no science fiction stories from history or Shakespeare or Greek, anything like that, all right? Science fiction is the modern modeling, up-to-date social engineering. Science fiction is genre. It exists to be propaganda. It exists to be predictive programming. It exists to shape your sensibilities of how to think of the future. Science fiction, future fiction. Where are we going to? Where are we headed? They're telling us how to think, how to think and where they want us to go. It may sound silly, what, through War of the Worlds and Time Machine? Yeah, because so much of H.G. Wells isn't the only guy. Aldous Huxley, all these guys that come through time, and everybody says, he stole this from that, and he stole this from that, and it goes back to guys like H.G. Wells and whoever before him who reads those things. I don't know. I'm just giving you what I got. So we come up till today, and let's look at film genres, okay? Horror, and then within horror you have different kinds of horror. You have like sci-fi horror, you have like witchcraft, demon horror, you have like monster stuff, you have like horror of the unknown, I guess you would call it cosmic horror. Just monsters, it doesn't make sense. You have science horror, you have slasher films, you have murder, horror, gore, things like that. Then you have war films and different genres within war films. And I don't mean like different wars, I just mean like whatever. You have romantic comedies, and within romantic comedies you have different types of that. So all the genres have subgenres. So Hardcore Henry, let's use that as an example. Hardcore Henry is a new thing. Hardcore Henry is like an Avatar type of movie. What do we know about people now? Everybody wants to kill PewDiePie because the world likes watching him play video games, and we know that the world we like to watch people play. I don't, but the world likes to watch other people play video games. It can be interesting to watch somebody, I don't want to play it, but to watch somebody play this movie and then they talk. It's talking in the movies. So people like talking in the movies, but not when you go to the movies. People want you to shut up so you can see the movie. But when you're at home chilling out and you can rewind it and pause it or whatever, or just watch the live stream later and don't have to pay for it again, like going to the movies, people want to watch other people play video games for free, and those people were making money off of it. And that changes the future of cinema and movies. All right, which they already know, and it's all part of the soup that was like, yeah, keep going. When it's all like, yeah, we'll work with it. It's all fine. So, what can you have for movies that could be good programming that was never intended because you never got it? You've never been given one movie as a program. Like when you go Neo, he plugs into that program and he learns karate. Whoa, I know karate. I saw the karate movie. That's all he did. They made it sci-fi'd up for you, but he watched a program that gave him sensibilities for karate. Now he knows karate, knows how to move. All right, that's a exaggerated example, but it's based on something true, because what you watch is programming. When people leave the movies, they say the stuff from the movies. The kids leave the movies, I want the toy, I want the thing, you know, like they want to be they wanted to be the Westerner, they wanted to be the cowboy, they wanted to be the astronaut, they wanted to be He-Man, they wanted to be Darth Vader, they wanted to be, you know, and you can go through, I want to be a robot, whatever it is. I want to be Steven Universe now. Whatever it is you want to be, like kids see the thing, want to be the thing. Same thing goes for girls. The girls see the thing, I want to be that thing, do that thing, and then it becomes the thing. And that's why women have their, oh, this is my girls, my star. I like Jennifer Aniston and J-Lo. I like Miranda Lopez, all these people. So they do nothing. They're projections. They are told what to say and what to do, and if they do what they're told to say and do in public and private and in the films, they get to be the films, and you like them and you project whatever you project on them, and they shape your sensibilities when you're growing up, as you're growing up, and now you're an adult, and you keep watching them, and maybe you find new people, you go over your crushes, you find new people. I'm older now I admire this person, or you go watch old movies of people that were older, whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's all programming. But there's no programming of what I'm going to give you now. So, this is IRL, this is real life. Two people meet. Hey, you want to go on a date with me? Yeah, I think I'll go on, let's go on a date together. Okay, let's go see a movie. Let's go see a romantic comedy program directed by Scott Franklin Ree. Ooh, I like his programs. He really gives a good, that's why he has top rated movies, because people that see his rom-coms usually have successful relationships. And when he did that one trilogy, it gives a great basis for how to formulate a successful relationship. Part one, they meet, and at the end they declare their love. And in part two, they move in together, and then they save money, and then they buy a house. And then in part three, I saw part three. That's great. And this is they didn't go on a date yet. And it's like, yes. And in part three, they get a house and they make it beautiful and they plant all kinds of good food to eat and shit like that and blah, 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 blah. And then they have kids and it's really great and they do everything right. And it's like, oh, do you want to see Scott Franklin Ree's version of that? Or do you want to see the Tyler Perry? It's up to you, because I know that you're brown, and I know that you're Scott Franklin Ree colored, so it's up to you what movie we could see. Oh, we could see the collaborative effort where Scott Franklin Ree and Tyler Perry did a collaborative directing effort where they had a mixed couple meet, and how that could be a successful relationship, and blah, 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 for a lifetime of love, and blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, they got the part 4 in that one. That's the one where they went to grandparents and stuff like that. And that's your movies of the future. So now let's go on a date and see the movie that they see, which maybe I don't even need to go into, I kind of told you. So, hey, you ready for a date? Yeah, let's go. So they go into the movies. Shh, the movie starts. What's the movie that they see? It's, let's just say it's mine. It's Scott Franklin Ree's date program. So, a rom-com date, romantic, I knew I was missing something. Romantic comedy date program by Scott Franklin Ree. So, here's the movie. Two people bump into each other. Maybe there's some laughs, some funny stuff. It's easy to do. They meet under some humorous misunderstanding, and they go on a date. Okay, so they get ready for the date, and there's some things that's programming for the viewer that says, here's some fuck-ups that people make when going on a date, and here's how to make it go right. Or if somebody does make a fuck-up on a date, oh, there's some light drama. They go on a date and they make that mistake, and then their date says, oh, you don't have to do that thing that you did to prepare for our date. And they say, I know, I wanted to make a good impression. It wasn't really me, and I don't know why I made that mistake there. And the whole movie, everything goes perfect. Even if you put the drama into the movie about the lame date, romantic comedy, it's just faux pas people make. But it can be entertaining, amusing, and engaging because you get people that everybody likes. Paul Rudd and they're all Jennifers, right? Jennifer somebody else, the younger Jennifer. And you put her with Paul Rudd and they go together and they have a date, and it shows the example of how to have a good first date. And that's interesting because even though it happens really short because we can distort time through a movie, the people on the date are getting advice about the date they're on how to make it more successful so they can just be open and honest to see if they actually have a real connection, to avoid lies and bullshit, and to just get along no matter what. So then the first date happens like in the first 10-20 minutes or something, right? So right, this is a movie where they declare their love for each other eventually. So then you just have a movie that goes through the dating stuff and all the stuff like, ooh, this is polite, this is that, things that will happen through each other. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that I wanted to bang you. It's just, I know it's inappropriate, I'm working on it, you know, such as the world we live in. And then you fix those things. Or, I mean, like, everything goes right. And the mistakes and examples and like minor dramas that happen within the characters are all corrected within the film. So not only are you given a problem and a conflict, but it's immediately resolved with the right responses, because it's also programming the viewer of the film. And think about it, if you see a lifetime of romantic comedies, maybe, hopefully you won't have to, if you see them by yourself as a teenager and go to see a romantic comedy and you don't have a date, or you go with your friend, right? You go together, a bunch of girlfriends, a bunch of guy friends go to see, oh, we want to see this girl, she's pretty, or we think this guy's cool. It's Clint Eastwood's son in a romantic comedy, he's good in those. We like to see Paul Rudd in this romantic comedy quadrilogy or whatever you call it. So until he's like a great grandpa. That was a good one. So you can watch that stuff when you're young, as soon as you're old enough where you're interested in that sort of thing. And then as you go through other movies, say you had a breakup, it doesn't work out, and you're like, I'm gonna go to see a romantic comedy myself because I don't have a significant other right now. We tried a relationship and it didn't work. So you go to see part 2 of a saga because moving in together didn't work out for you, and you broke up when you moved in together. You didn't make it through that stage. So you start watching rom-com programs that are part 2, and a rom-com program which is the moving in phase, or like a movie that has a rom-com about moving in with the person. And you can say, maybe you got to watch like 5 of them. You're like, that's what I did. This movie, oh man, the Kevin Smith one, he touched on that. That's cool, because I watched the Zack Snyder rom-com about the moving in phase, and I watched the guy that I'm trying to think of somebody, Ryan Johnson version, and those didn't do it for me. But when I finally saw the one directed by, I don't know, fuck it, doesn't matter, I don't need to name drop anyway, the one directed by somebody else, that was the one where he touched on a thing that was like a major part of a relationship and why it didn't work. Cool. So then, you know, he goes back and watches dating program where it's like, how'd that guy engage a girl that he liked? And you can watch the movie that starts there. You know what I mean? And you have all these different levels for different ages. One's appropriate to teens, but it gets dangerous because it's like programming people. So it sounds really creepy, the whole idea of what I'm saying. But that's what movies are. Like, there's no need for anyone to watch a movie save for it to be programming. In the early days before there was movies, there was plays and songs and traveling bards. I'd come play music and I sing you stuff of how to think about, what to think about, and travel the land, stuff like that. And then they would put out decrees and have stories passed on and traditions of how to keep things going in a healthy way. But then that became perverted, and now you have people with money up into present day. I'm just going to skip ahead into present day, where guys who have all the money say this is what movies are about and this is how you think. And we inherited it all. Like, if you're alive here now, you've been given a bunch of bullshit since birth that was bad for you about how to think through all the movies and TV and stuff you watch. That's your programming. Why is there no programming that's like an adventure? Like, let's go into adventure programming now. Batman food. Let me see if I have any more thoughts on the rom-com. So you can go through all the stages, even old age and dying. Getting to the film where Matthew McConaughey and Rachel Maddow, no, Jennifer Aniston Jennifer Aniston, I'm getting old, and Jennifer Aniston are old, and Matthew McConaughey dies because usually the husband dies first. And the whole last movie is still great. It's about their old age, and it's really touching, romantic. And you know what's really great? When he dies, he set up this whole thing she didn't know about because he loved his wife so much. Hint, husbands, where he left her all this money and other cool shit she didn't even know about, and he was doing it the whole lifetime, right? And you can see that thread run through the movie. Hey, why is Matthew McConaughey in all the other 3 movies, why is Matthew McConaughey always like doing this shit? Or they always show this one thing. So it gives you callbacks to other movies so you can go back and watch the movie again. Oh my God, that's what he was doing. He was trying to, I know what I mean? Like, why can't movie programming be like that? So then it helps you deal with death and grieving, and it helps you think about your beloved. Then you do a version of it where the wife dies first, and whatever she would want to do so he can take care of himself without her there, whatever. Because, you know, the roles that women play, whatever, if you want to get like that. Because what do men and women need when they go on a date? They need an example of who to be, how to be, and who to find, and what to look for and who to find, right? The man needs that, the woman needs that. Everybody wants lifelong monogamy, no matter how you identify. That goes for men that lay with men and women that lay with women. Okay, we know that they can get real estate and live together in lifelong monogamy and all that, and make their kids feel awkward. I'm just kidding. But anyway, lifelong monogamy and bringing people here, it's like natural. And if you don't bring people here, you get old and you just want to tell young people what to do. Don't do this, don't do that. I know why. I did those things. There's this desire to parent in some capacity, even if you never bring anybody here. But we got all these programs. And the romantic comedy program could be like lifelong. You could just watch it all at once. Just binge watch it all. Help develop your sensibilities for a lifetime of programming yourself to whatever ends you wanted to be in our cool, part technocratic, part agrarian society where everyone is 100% human and non-GMO, and we clean up all that shit and everybody's happy and we spread out and all the baby blood drinking is ended and all this stuff. So anyway, what other programs we could do? This is where it gets cool, right? More fun, but more frivolous. Everybody likes fucking Batman. Okay, you like Batman. The Dark Knight with horns. He looks like a demon. The Black Shadow demon. Batman looks cool. It's neat. The rich guy who has all the money. And what does he want to do? Vigilantism. Because he's deranged and he can't get over the loss of his parents. So he says, I'm going to make weapons for the military-industrial complex, which is the Batman we have now. And you just let me test out all my shit in town, and then you lock up all my playmates and then let them out every now and then, and just whenever I got new tech to test out. Why doesn't somebody do that Batman story? That'd be a cool... I did it already. You don't need to read it. That's the story. So, anyway, what could you do for a Batman movie? You take all the cool Batman music that people like from the cartoon, from the Danny Elfman movie. Bam, ba 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 bam, bam, bam. You take the Bruce, not the Bruce Wayne, the 1960s Batman theme, and you make a Batman movie that's like a short segment movie of Batman adventures where you just see what you want to see. It's not beholden to dialogue and stuff. It's just like a music video where Batman's the avatar, because you want to see Batman and whoever he's with. Maybe he's with Robin or Batgirl or any of his bat mates. Alright, maybe it's just Batman by himself. Maybe it's rated R Batman. Maybe it's Family Batman, the program, and you just want to see a cool adventure, and it has all the music you like because you like the Batman music and you associate this music with Batman. You can make new Batman music, and you just watch the Batman music video where you just watch the thing and listen to the music. There can just be like a music video where there's interjections of "No way, forget about it, Joker," and then they explain something that's you didn't feel like showing, but the music never stops. And you can do a Baby Driver, because music is, movies are headed this way, because you can do it, especially with animated stuff, where you can sync up, because animation is timing and rhythm to things, and it was even more so in the past when people would, the bounce and squash effect, which doesn't matter, they don't use it anymore. It's more the cut and paste effect that they use in animation now. It's cut and paste and layering, as opposed to bounce and squash. But it doesn't matter. Real life people can move to beats and shit like that. And if they don't move to beats, you can manipulate them with the programs that already exist to move to timing and rhythms. Even if it looks weird and unnatural, it doesn't matter if you have a weird Batman movie that has its own rhythms. Do you realize how sophisticated and cool my brain is to figure out the stuff to tell you? But no, it already exists. They're going to be able to alter the movements. Like when you go see somebody's movie, Mandy helped this click for me. Mandy pulls you into its speeds and you watch because you're engaged by the color palette it uses and by like, this guy understands that fucking wicked Panos Cosmos. Why does he gotta have a name like Panos? He understands how he understands how to manipulate us well. So he's saying, I want to make this, whatever he wants to make, could be anything. I want to make this, and I'm going to do this to you. And he does. And everybody says how engaging it is. Maybe they don't use those words, but to bring you in. There's going to be more of that in the future. So you can make a movie at whatever pace, meter, tone, just live action, and you can slow it down, and you can change the music. You could take the Batman music, and there's this huge chase on a rooftop, but then Batman's running out of energy. So what do? You slow down that looping chase theme, so the Batman's getting tired. He's breathing, and you get to hear the breathing. You hear his heartbeat. What's wrong with Batman? Does he have a cold? Batman's got a virus or something, right? And you can kind of tell, but all you're doing is, you never seen him get sick. You can just tell visually by how they're fucking with the music, his heartbeat, the way that he's moving, because it's like, I'm just imagining animated CGI really cool. Batman or something with stubble, CGI stubble, looks like AI sports game or something, right? So there he is running a rooftop, and the Joker can't keep up with the Joker, and then the music goes bum 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 bum, and you hear the bum 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 bum. However you want to do it. You're limited only by your own creativity. You're going to be able to do that. You're going to be able to alter performances. Ooh, like, you know what I mean? Like they did this already with the Tim Burton and the Eyes film. They made the big eyes and they made the people's eyes big. They did it with him in Alice in Wonderland. They tweaked things just enough to be unreality. They already had it in the 90s or early 2000s with Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. They had it in The Mask. They could exaggerate features. It's just early CGI, just the morphing thing, right? Just dot, 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 expand, and then speed it up. But they can also slow it down. So I was really crude about it, thinking, hey, Adult Swim short segment stuff, 11 minutes, 22 minutes, whatever. I could come up with characters and just let a whole bunch of people animate my small construct of a world, and then boom, just put cool tunes behind it, because I saw the thing with the beats and all that stuff coming in with the beats and the lo-fi chill jams and the DJ Erez Muscule or whatever, all these guys coming in, and MF Doom, where they're taking sound bites of old background music and putting it into loops and just making it hypnotic and going, oh, this is great with Soma. Ooh, I'm just going to listen to Jay Dilla. I'm going to listen to a homework edit of Jay Dilla for like an hour, go do 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 do, and that's it for like a fucking hour. But I want to make it interesting. It's needless to make stuff like this, but it's just an adventure program. Could you put a lesson in there? Yeah, don't overexert yourself in a cold. So you're watching a Batman program, and there's countless Batman programs because everybody loves Batman. So they just use Batman for every kind of healthy programming and engineering tool for people in the kind of way that in a world that you and I would want to live in. So Batman, this one, you don't recognize it when you watch it, but Batman gets a cold, and then it's really about exercising. Don't push it. If you're feeling down, maybe stop. Don't push through the pain, because maybe you'll push through the pain and then you can't play. So maybe Batman has a crime-solving related injury, and then he goes out again because he's like, I have to go out. It's my job. No one else can do this. And so he goes out, but he's got a sprained ankle, and he gets hurt even worse. And then he really gets into a pickle or something like that. And of course he's Batman, so he can't die. But then you get to figure out, oh, if I overtrain, I know it's a dumb message, but I'm just shooting from the hip here. It's a message about overtraining in a cool Batman adventure film. It doesn't have to be a short segment, it could be long, but you could make a Batman film. It doesn't have to be Batman. Superman, Spider-Man, whoever, the Hulk, The Hulk deals with anger issues. You have whatever anger issue men have, whatever anger issue women have. Boom. Hulk, She-Hulk, whatever the issue is, here's how I handle it wrongly. That's how you use the Hulk. That kind of stuff. You see what I mean? Like, nobody makes anything like that. It's all bullshit messages. It's all, well, these days it just seems to me, my opinion, Luciferian bullshit. It's all self-destructive degradation of man, destruction of the old gods, and bring out fire and death and horned everything. Whatever. They broke Thor's dick. But anyway, it's all programming. I always say this, I don't hate people, I hate the programs. So this is great fodder for other people's YouTube videos, which I highly encourage anybody that wants to swipe from this, that would see it, go ahead. Because think about the future of cinema. Maybe you're a filmmaker. All you have to do, even in my limited range of who I can reach, if somebody says something else or makes another video and it gets out there, somebody who has the to-do that can be seen, that will be seen, will make the kind of programming I'm talking about. It's all negative. All of our programming, they don't make any beautiful CGI worlds that are great. Like Annihilation, they make this, oh, look at this cool, beautiful fantasy stuff. It kills you. It's evil. It's wicked. It's distorted. It's twisted. It looks wicked. What about this, like, maybe a world that we don't live in, but that it's like this future world that's like lush and green, and everybody has a place to live, and like every race and creed and every race is represented and shit like that, and everybody's happy and they have all the things that they want, and there's room for all of us, and there's no bloodshed and heart. What about a movie like World Peace the movie that isn't ironic, directed by Sam Hyde? But what about World Peace the movie that is just the program of how we can fix the planet? And it's like, oh my God, we did this, and then we did this. First we got rid of these people that were consumed by greed and bloodlust and bloodthirst and stuff like that, and here's how we did that, and here's how we did this, and here's how we did that, and it all worked, and everything went off with a hitch. And it's like, oh, then they tried to do this to us, but then we stopped it by doing this. And it's the whole rundown of how to never have like cultural collapse, and how to build like this great world where everything works for everybody. And then we could get to the stars, probably by just like moving the planet next to another planet, and then people going like fleas just jumping down. I don't know, anything's possible, right? You can make a movie about it, but let's make programs that, however fantastic they could get. What I think is, after a while fantasy would go away and programs would just go away, but they'd be there like for people to have. But it's like, I don't know, like, I guess the programs would evolve as people changed. As we changed and we learned better, maybe we would think of different ways. Like, oh, wait a minute, we thought it was like this, and this program helped us develop mentally or emotionally and all these things on all levels to this stage. So now we can look at the old programs. You could just go back and change them or alter the old programs. Oh, everyone loves the Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Aniston, Lifetime romantic comedy program thing that they did. Not so much they don't like the horror films they did. I don't think there'd be horror programs. There's no need to watch horror programs unless they'd be like flying videos for driving around your little drone thing. Like, oh my God, blood on a highway. Like videos of like how to avoid pitfalls of like standing on top of a high building and falling or some shit. I don't know, but you know what I mean. Like movies as programs, the kind I'm speaking of, don't exist. What do we have that's kind of like that? People watching other people play video games on Twitch, and Hardcore Henry. Maybe something else will come to me, maybe you know something, but Hardcore Henry, it's a point and shoot the movie. I guess the first Doom movie was kind of like that. There's a lot of first person perspective in Doom, which was a neat idea, but the movie's fucking dumb as shit. Doom with The Rock, that movie. But Hardcore Henry I like, but it's horrible. I shouldn't like to see that kind of stuff, but I am impressed, and it's like traumatic, right? Like your heart's racing, like, oh my God, because I'm thinking, these guys are doing this dangerous shit. Doesn't matter if they're on a wire. I'm like, I couldn't run on top of scaffolding with a wire holding me. Like, I'm gonna fall. Why the hell would I want to do that? I don't. But like 80 Russian crazy adrenaline junkie maniacs said, we will do. And they did it with body cams. And that movie is point and shoot the movie, right? And then they do all this seamless edits and stuff. It's really cool. And the movie is friends are expendable. use people to get what you want. They'll just find somebody else, find somebody else. So he keeps getting Shardo Copley over and over again to help him out, his clone friend or whatever. And it's just point and shoot the movie. You're indestructible, man. You're a transhumanist, super soldier thug who answers to no authority. You're the inevitable future of Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, you gotta get the heist, you can get the cool cyber parts and hack into shit. They gotta do that with Grand Theft Auto, right? Grand Theft Auto, like, hey, come on, you can fuck bots and Grand Theft Auto California 2049 or whatever, right? Oh, look at what kind of, you can make your own fuckbots. All the fuckbots in the game I design all look like this. They have giant anime eyes like no human and the body of a 10-year-old or something. Whatever the fuck you want to make. It's all great. But no, those are terrible programs. We want to stick focused on the good programs. Video games. What about the idea of alterable content? If you have AI being able to alter content and stuff like that, what if we used it in a good way? Again, take all the Dark Forces tools and use them for good, if this is a good idea. I don't know. I don't think people would want to watch it. But say you could alter the programs to whatever. So anyway, you just have programs alter them. Hey, program, do this, and the program does it, and you watch it. Like, ah, cool, can you do this? And the program tweaks it. The AI program tweaks it. There you go. We created a monster. AI or programs. Is it life? Is it life without material embodiment that uses the medium of machine? People talk about these things. But let's forget about that tangent. It's interesting to me. I think it's probably to you too. But I foresee the possibility, if you or I make it, a new future of cinema where it's just programs. But again, it's going to be based on whoever makes the film's bias. How does things work for people? We're all like mental defectives. The whole foundation of psychology is predicated on Sigmund Freud studying mentally ill people. Where are the healthy, what do you call it? They always have like when you're doing research, you have to have two different, like, here's one case study, here's the other case. Here's people that are messed up, here's the people that are not messed up. Sorry, I can't remember the word. But you get the two types of people, the messed up people and not the controls. You have the messed up people and the not messed up people. He's only studying messed up people and built everything on that. And if you know something about Freud, he lied about a lot of shit. His heirs had said it. As soon as he was dead and they went through his shit, they said, oh my God, he lied about so much stuff. And here's all the proof for that. And I said, it doesn't matter. So psychology, shaky shoulders. I know people say, we know about Freud. We have Jung corrected Freud. But you ever see Jung's The Red Book? He got into some weird shit and occultism and ritualistic stuff, and it's weird. It's a big weighty tome. It's kind of neat as in terms of books to look at. It's got pictures and his drawings and shit in it, and paintings, watercolors, whatever. It's something. I don't even know if people think about Jung that way. Do you know about The Red Book? You don't need it. But anyway, it's all fucked up and weird is the only reason I mention it. So, not to say that there isn't stuff that's useful in there, but forget it. I'm not going to go and say I'm better than all these guys know all this shit. You don't want it. But the way we think about psychology, the way we think about cinema, it's all distorted right from the start. Where's our example of studying healthy people and the research of that? I know that exists, what they say, but it's all predicated on biases. We think these things are healthy people. We say these things are not. What are they looking at? What are they not looking at? What can they see? What can't they see? It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, we'll work on it. But there's definitely some basics. There's moral fabric to how people can get along and how they don't get along. We see how cultures and societies work. Oh, this is how they work. Oh, this is when it started to go wrong, and these are the signs of cultural collapse. That's why we have these terms. Cultural collapse. This is the things that happen when cultural collapse. Breakdown of moral values. Breakdown of traditional roles. That's cultural collapse. Breakdown of traditional roles. When men don't want to be men, and women don't want to be women, and men don't want to look for men, and women don't want to look for women, then they don't bring the next generation of people here properly. And that's where we're at now. There's too many people, since everybody had TVs in their homes, that spent too much time watching TV. So it programmed us how to think. And although we talk to each other, we do that less and less. People stay home. People, even though it's okay to go out, some places it isn't. People don't want to go out. They want to stay home. They want to watch the monitors. They want to watch people play video games and watch movies and talk shit about them. They want to talk to each other at the movies, right? They're just allowing for cell phones to be at the movies because that's cool. The movies are the programs, and the programs are shit. Why aren't there the kind of programs that never existed? They wouldn't be boring. There's so many different ways you can be creative with getting men and women together for the romantic comedy. You can have Indiana Jones adventures, whatever. I mean, he's old now, but I'm saying you could have Indiana adventure programs that are about relationships between father and son. Sean Connery and Harrison Ford get together in Indiana Jones, whatever, and they deal with father-son issues at different ages in their life. If you could have done that as a program. There's a whole bunch of Indiana Jones movies. Harrison Ford did it from the beginning of his career for a real long time. He did, you know, he's a guy that never got married. He did issues with his father, and now he's at this point where it's the first time where we do a movie with Sean Connery as Indiana Jones' dad. So they're together. There's 3 movies with the 3 of them where they deal with, here's how you fucked up with me as a dad, through an adventure movie. And you know what I mean? Like, it's still an adventure movie, still that stuff. It's a narrative thread. It doesn't have to be soundtrack restricted like the Batman movie. I was just giving an example of how Batman is like action. So everybody just wants to see Batman do cool shit. People want to see the Hulk smash. So you do that as a cool music video, right? With all the messages you want to be in there, but you just watch them. It'll be so easy to do once people get the knack for how to do it. Somebody will do it really good, and everybody will say, oh, that's how you do it. And then people will just innovate. That's how everything happens. It's a 12th monkey thing. Somebody figures out how to do a thing, that's creativity, and everybody expands upon that creativity, making more things. I don't know if we're supposed to be getting so creative with such nonsense, but you could do this with film. So Indiana Jones, maybe you do the 4th one where Sean Connery dies in that one, so you deal with the death and the family of how you deal with the death of your father, blah, blah, blah. And what advice you would have for your son on your deathbed. But he dies heroically in an adventure because he gets shot, not because of cancer in a bed. That's how we go, but give him something. You're like, oh, that's a metaphor for cancer, right? You can make us smarter. You can give metaphor so many layers, so many levels. It would make people sharper. What we're getting now is the opposite. Blockbuster movies make people dumb. Remakes rewrite history to take sharp, intelligent films made with poignant messages by directors. That's old programming that may or may not have slipped in through cinema. Movies that remember, and rewrites them. Says, oh, we know you like the same things. We'll give you that program, sort of, but we have to rewrite that program. So new movies rewrite remakes and reboots. Yeah, I have to include both of them. Remakes and reboots of franchises that people know and love are hated because it's like, here's the shell of the thing, that's the program, the old part of the program that's familiar, sort of, but here's a new program. So when they change everything in a way that people hate, they're dumbing down your sensibilities on all levels. When they take a really detailed, animated entirely in Japan Thundercats cartoon and turn it into little flash animated marshmallow Pokemon trinket troll doll things, it's saying something about the sensibilities. When Steven Universe and Adventure Time and Thundercats look like they all belong in the same universe and they're not that far off from She-Ra and all this stuff that they're doing now, that's in the now, that people don't like, there's a sameness. It's a reprogramming, rebooting. Forget about the old stuff. Here's that stuff, but you know what I mean? You don't want just to have the old stuff because people will go just to the old stuff. So you say, forget about the old stuff. Here's just the new stuff. The way we want you to have it. And that's what the young people see. Until they say, we can't watch the old stuff anymore. We can't listen to the old pops and buzzes. We need this now. So programming, the future programming could be beautiful. You could use all the pops and tones and buzzes and all the 80s synths, vibraphone, no, vaporwave music and chill jams and music and all that shit. You could use all that music, create these ambient dreamlike soma affairs, but give messages, right? You could have movies for the soma people, so you go out and it smells funny in there, and you go in the soma theater and you just pipe like vapor weed in through the ventilators, and you can, you know, breathe that in or whatever. It smells like blueberries. Hey audience, what did the audience vote for? The weed that they vape into your little hot box, and I just vape it in, you breathe it in. It's like, oh, everybody wants blueberry cheesecake, man. So then you get blueberry cheesecake, and this is horrible fantasy. Blueberry cheesecake, and they show you your cool day glow. Major Lazer the movie. You know who Major Lazer is? Major Lazer is a Rastafarian Mr. T type character who had a cartoon that was really kind of fun that nobody saw, that made fun of 80s animation. So you get dumbed down animation. The comic books is the same thing. Comic books used to say, oh, look at all these talented artists, look how great it is. And they fired all those guys and hired people who can't draw, can't write, and can't spell. And they leave that in the comics on purpose, because it's a deliberate dumbing down of the sensibilities of whoever's supposed to see that stuff. Because everything you see is motherfucking programming, as it has always been. And I could keep going with this. Video games will get dumbed down. Everybody's complaining about everything. There's this total deliberate, come on man, everything's attacking everything men do to shape and force their sensibilities into being something they don't like. Fine, be irritated, fine, hate it. But the younger guys are saying, hey, if you want to be around, if you want women's attention, do this. And I'm telling women, you should like this stuff too, for whatever reason. So they give everybody, man, woman, child, kid, teen, tween, something true that speaks directly to them, whoever they are, wherever they're at in life, the stages of life, and says, here's something that's truthful that speaks to you. So listen to me. And then they listen to a whole bunch of bullshit, and then comes in lies too with it. So they get you with some truth, but then they distort with the lies. And the whole point's about giving you just a little bit of truth to lead you astray. So every now and then some truth to keep you there. It's drugs. It's how to bait. It's called baiting. Here's some truth. Here's some truth. Here's some truth. But in between all that truth is lies that always distort. They can give you a piece of something that's true, but as long as ultimately whatever they gave you that's truthful leads you wherever they want you to lead you, which in the case of everything I'm talking about would be to lead you astray from not God or Jesus or anything necessarily, but just from anything that would make you happy or, you know what I mean, be pleasing to you. The programs are miserable. Romantic comedies are always like, you know, and they're bullshit and they're not believable. Guys are made to hate them. What if they were made for everybody to like them? What about a rom-com action? You see what I mean? You can just keep mixing genres. People, the Nick Cage thing, the Mandy thing, right? It's kind of somebody's idea of that, like a movie program. But I don't like it because it's a dark Luciferian program. But damn it, it got in there. I keep thinking about that film still. And but the guy's, I don't like that. He's the illegitimate offspring of Guillermo del Weirdo. Guillermo del Weirdo shot a squirt of Mazoon somewhere, and then it came out Panos Cosmos, whatever his name is. And then Guillermo and Panos Cosmos fucked, and he created the girl that is the lead in The Shape of Water and Mandy, right? Mandy with the weird scarred eye. Oh, I want her to look like a seafood woman, like she looks like the bride of Dagon. That's what fantasies people get to make. Dark, sick ones. Jason is going to get 13 Fridays, right? That's the next one. He's going to get his 13th Friday, whatever that is. Did he do it already? I don't know. So anyway, all that shit. Deadpool, all these avatars, do whatever you want with them. Have people deal with the confusion of pansexuality and hyper-violence and bad decision-making and being we can rehab the insane clown posse kids and the Suicide Squad girls using Deadpool and Harley Quinn. Disney owns them all. No, wait, not yet. Anyway, there you go. I'm going to make the rehabilitation program for alcoholics and kids that did way too much soma and the weed and the pots and meth and stuff. And I'm going to use the avatars of Harley Quinn and Deadpool in a romantic comedy about two people that fucked up, that are rehabilitating of whatever age they're in, and say, here's this, here's that, and people can go, wow, that really helped me. And then you can love those characters for a fucking reason. But should we? I don't know. Is there a healthy way to help people get rid of their bad decision tattoos and rebuild cells and shit? I don't know. But you get the idea. The future of the cinema could be fantastic, and it could be instantaneous, and it could just be, you could just find it online. People say, here's a great program, watch it for free. So it kind of makes me think of the Matrix Neo program, where he's like, whoa, I just learned karate. You can be like, whoa, I just understood stage 1 relationships, and I'm in high school. That's an advanced program for a high schooler. Whatever, you know what I mean? But you could. But again, you don't need a sex simulator. You know, whatever. You don't need pornography programs. You probably don't need horror movies and gore, but you could have stuff that be like, horror movies probably gotta go. They glorify gore. You know what I mean? Like a thing like a Hostel, a thing like a Saw, yeah, even things like Hellboy and stuff like that, where it's aimed at like family, satanic, gore, whatever shit, Luciferianism, whatever you want to call it. Guillermo del Weirdo. I want to make a movie. I'm not, fuck him. I can talk about him in some other episode. But we could make anything, and what do we get? Some bullshit, right? Could be great. Imagine a Star Wars program that wasn't the space thing, the Reagan thing. What about the Star Wars program that, like the movies, but it's like the Star Wars program where it's about your adopted kids, and then what it's like to meet your other sibling, and then what it's like to meet her boyfriend, which would be Han Solo, and it still does the whole thing of Star Wars, but it also puts into the way the movie's made the program of resolving issues with your absentee father, and what it's like to be, if you're the Han Solo guy coming in to watch the movie, you're like, oh, I'm marrying into a dysfunctional family of Alcoholics Anonymous and shit like that, and like bad people, and the father's like really destructive, has a really destructive grip on his kids and stuff like that, or mother, whatever. And your Star Wars could actually be a way to resolve, like you could remake everything, right? But still do Star Wars, and it's still the Star Wars you know, but it really does have the programming and propaganda of how to create the world I want to live in, which would be, you know, man and woman, how to resolve your issues with your father or whatever. And then, hey, you want to do Lady Star Wars? You have Lady Death of I'm trying to think of Dark Mother, whatever. You know what I mean? You have Dark Mother instead of Dark Father. Whatever. You know, what it's like to be Jaina Solo coming into the family of Prince Leonard instead of Princess Leia. You know what I mean? Just gender swap or whatever. Not that people are going to care about that stuff, but you could do it that way and give a whole bunch of movies and programs for people to watch that will actually program you something good. We love watching movies. Everybody watches shit. We can't stop. Everybody's looking at their phone, even if they're only looking at text. Ha ha this, ha ha ha. Oh, this is alarming. Whatever it is, Facebook. What are they thinking about? What are they doing? She's a slut. Do you realize what she just said about herself on Facebook? That's horrible. They don't even know what they're doing. She's a mom. Oh my God, he's a dad. That's embarrassing. Oh my God, that's my friend's dad. Why is he doing that? Whatever it is, right? No more of that. People could come up with, ooh, like a YouTuber would do this. Sorry, I'm gonna get back to my ooh. A YouTuber goes, ooh, I saw a movie. I'm gonna make my fan fiction version of the short film of the Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Aniston dating movie. I'm gonna put this little thing in where me and my girlfriend are gonna do our little add-on, like with a joke or something, of this scene. That's a thing, that's an important detail about relationships that wasn't in this movie, and that just came from a YouTuber. That just came from me and my girlfriend. I didn't even direct the Denzel Nicki Minaj movie where they fell in love with each other. But me and my girlfriend did this cool little thing based on a scene from that. It doesn't work out with our colors. But let's just say we did that. You see what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, ooh, that's cool. And people go, like, and like, oh, that's cool, comment. And people talk about the relationship stuff from that program. And they're talking about a fucking movie, right? What about Godzilla as a metaphor for war and how to resolve conflicts in like maybe regional conflicts or conflicts from township to township or whatever, from Dumas to Dumas through Godzilla. Oh, there's a conflict of nations, and Godzilla is the example of war or this or that. And then you can do the same thing with those Robotech Battloid shits and all the, you know what I mean? Like whatever you want to do that we already have here, since we're already programmed for all this stuff, and we're the ones that are here. Start making that stuff, man. Use all your Star Trek gear and Star Wars gear and like all your, like, make Boba Fett cool and have Boba Fett deal with the issues that he's like, shit, I'm a test tube baby. Like, there was my mom and my dad and a lab, and that's like the Boba Fett story. Puts all in a cool action adventure story that never really outright mentions anything about that he's a test tube baby, but somehow it comes across. Hey, if anybody, all you do is you say words, chicken soup, then you think about what the idea is. Chicken Soup becomes a movie about how to resolve issues with a mother that you have abandonment issues with. And it just came from whatever I just said, chicken soup, or whatever the fuck I said, rubber chicken, whatever it was. You see what I'm saying? It could be anything. So we could take all our franchises and shit and just, you want to do Star Wars universe stories with more Han Solo and Chewbacca stuff on their own, you deal with issues of friends. How did Chewie and Han get to be so tight? You know, you could come at different movies where they're like, here's how to get along with people, here's how they built a business, here's how their business failed. And it's a cool action adventure stuff with spaceships, but it's about how, if you're going to start a business with your friend, how to not make it fail. Cool, huh? Probably have algorithms make them. Hey, feed in Han Solo and Chewbacca and do a story about how they started a business after Return of the Jedi with Princess Leia and they lost their intergalactic bike shop or whatever. And whatever, you know what I mean? And it was rough for a while. It could be anything. But I don't need to keep expounding on fantasy ideas. You could do that yourself. Maybe you will. But anyway, I think there could be a future, an optimistic, bright future for movies, which has always been programming. It's always been programming. Entire genres, they only exist as genres in fiction, literature, cinema, blah, 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 blah. I know, it's only two things. But all the different video game programming, pointing and shooting, whatever it does to your brain when you're supposed to go around and like loot and steal everything in a land, and then that gets you points. Just take it. Just get it. Can you get it? Shoot people if you want or don't. You know what I mean? Whenever you decide, you make the rules. Do whatever you want. Do as thou will. Not do as thou will. Do what's good for you. And what's good for you? All the things, soup of this episode. So could movies be programming? Yeah. Good programming. They've always been programming. Every commercial, every movie, every TV show has been programming. And a lot of it's been made by mostly good people, but guess what? They're just doing what they think is good based on what was given to them before them, which was some bullshit. Even going back into days before the internet with books, when it was hard to program people because not everybody would read this stuff. Not H.G. Wells' history, but H.G. Wells' science fiction, rather, right? John Carter and Mars. Where's that one? I had that one around. Anyway, it's programming. But it was always shit programming. Our sensibilities are predicated on shit programs on all of our fantasy. So I kind of think that in the future, well, probably fantasy they'll want to fall away anyway. But you can go into fantasy, but it'll be more like just weird fantasy about like just programming you fantasy, as opposed to anything to do with dragons or fantasy creatures or stuff. Whatever they want to do with transhumanism, that will be put in there. But who cares? I don't want to speculate on that. You get the idea. Let's just focus on what could be good. Reprogramming people. They're reprogramming people fast, which is why everybody's going, hey, wait a minute, we don't like any of our franchise. What the hell are you doing? We're all still alive here, and even the young people don't like it. Nobody likes this shit. What are you doing? Like, we don't care. It's called Bolshevik programming for everybody through all media. We're just giving you what you're going to get, and that's what people are going to have. So if you want to watch any of this stuff, and you do, you can fight with each other, but we're going to give you this, and you're just going to keep getting it until you give up, until we weed you out, until we get rid of you, until there's punishments, and as you get punished, you're just going to shut up. And then it's the programming. And what do you have? In all that time that it takes to get to there, you have all the programming being what they want it to be. and that's always the way it's been. But they're just doing it fast now, because they're like, oh, we have all the social media and the internet. We can program people fast, especially young people. We have a whole bunch of people who have grown up with monitors right in front of them right from the beginning. I remember being amazed in early 2000s when I saw a little like 3 or 4-year-old get up on the computer and go dick, 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 dick. I'm like, how does he know how to do anything? I didn't know how to use a computer very well back then. So I quit animation. Everything was going to that. I mean, anyway, it's different now. Kids know how to use a phone better than me. And I got a phone that does a lot of shit that I don't use. That's always in a Faraday box. And it's always off because I'm the asshole that nobody calls because they know that I don't answer my phone. But if they have to, they leave a message. And I don't get it until it's too late. So they don't call. It's lonely. That's what I chose for myself. And I'm not, human contact's good. I still got that. But I don't miss that fucking phone. But I wish that there was any program I could watch now. Because there isn't. I keep going through my movies, my treasured classics, the things I like, the things that have, after all the shit I went through with like saying can't like this, can't like that, propaganda, bad messages, even the stuff I like, I'm like, I don't think I can watch it anymore, you know? How many times do I want to see They Live? I like it. I'm not saying, oh, I'm so puritanical I can't watch violence and stuff. I like the message in that movie. You know, Rodney Dangerfield saves the world and They Live. That would be cool. Oh, fuck you, cocksuckers. Brrr. Oh, and he dies on the roof. That'd be funny with his eyes. So anyway, it's Roddy Piper. And then poor David Keith or Keith David or whatever the fuck that guy's name is gets shot in the head. Oh, terrible. Didn't even see it coming. I always hated when that happened to him. Like, fuck, he's dead. Anyway, she gets it. Meg, the green eyes. Forget about They Live. I went off on a tangent. And is that a tangent? Am I using that word wrong? Who cares? Too many disclaimers. Too many disqualifiers. So yeah, we could make new things. I think we can make new things. They're going to be based on your bias. You make them however you want them. Whoever makes them is going to make them however they want. But I don't want to see this garbage programming. That's all we ever got was garbage. I've never seen the kind of programming I want to have through movie. And it's kind of ruined my movie watching and DVD collection. Because like I said, I'm not watching new stuff. But what I am doing is hanging out with the old man, going up to the old family homestead with him and watching like westerns. He watches the fucking westerns and all that shit. So I go to visit my parents and they're both looking at different monitors in different rooms. She's watching her fantasies of old things that she likes. Actually, she's more up to date. She's watching the new stuff. The gore and the horror and the violence. Ooh, I love all the latest, gorest, newest stories. Ooh. And then my dad's saying, I just want to see the simpler stuff, what I reckon I can recall. So he just watches old stuff, right? It's just like Fry in Futurama. Remember that one Futurama episode where he's like, I was going to live in the 80s. And he does, and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't drink any more Sprite. You know, because like, we live in that world now. You can like, live in that weird, like, go back to your place and decorate it however you want. I did. You can decorate your pad, your apartment, however you want, fill it with Funko Pops. Look at everybody's rooms. Here's my room of cold cast resin superhero statues and shit. Here's my collection of action figures. Here's my toy room. Here's my, I have to look up if anybody has Halloween rooms. Here, it's all year long, it's Halloween in this room. I have to find out and report back to you. But yeah, that's a lifetime, I guess, now. Creating an environment you can go into. We're so divorced from the actual environment. Ew, bugs, ew, mosquitoes, ew, whatever. That's all they wanted. So, we need to reprogram the way we want to be reprogrammed. What if the Thundercats was about, hey, we're all like refugee program for like anybody could watch. It would help you understand what refugees go through, and would help you understand what it's like to be a refugee and simulating. And people would really be like, people that have been through some shit would really identify with Thundercats. Like, yeah, you like Thundercats? Thundercats t-shirt? You refugee? And you're like, no, I married one, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like the programming, like why am I partial to this? Oh, I like the Thundercats because I lived through some horrible shit that like degraded my people. They made us live horrible ways, stuff like that. Then it unleashed us and it created horrible conflict. They did horrible things. And the Thundercats helped me resolve that because the Thundercats were ostracized from their planet, and they land on a new planet, and then people gave them shit, and they just wanted to live, and the other people were like, hey, why are you fucking with our shit? Refugees, Thundercats, whatever. He-Man. Sexual confusion? Gender confusion? I don't know. Cool action adventure for anybody. Now I understand my brother.